welcome to tonight's panel discussion about the 2022 District 91 conference. Everything is possible. We have, I can't count, 4 members of the panel here to answer questions tonight, to whet your appetite and make you decide, if you haven't already, that you have to be at this year's conference. My name is Jill Siegel, and I'm one of the MCs for the conference event. And we have here Toby Wilson, who is working with me on the stages. I'd like to ask the panel to introduce themselves. We'll start with Rupa. Rupa, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jill, and good evening, everybody. My name is Rupa Datta, and I am District 91's Programme Quality Director.
And Amy?
Thank you, Jill. My name's Amy Jones, and this year I'm the Conference Administrator.
Isla?
Hello, everybody. Good evening. My name's Isla O'Hara, and I'm the PR Director for this year's conference.
And Alistair?
Thank you, Jill. Hello, everyone. My name's Alistair, and I am this year's Technical Director for the conference.
Wow. Well, we have quite a team here tonight, and I'm going to hand over to my fellow MC, Toby, to take this forward.
Thanks, Jill. I'm really excited. There's 18, 19 days to go, and you guys have done a lot of work. You've got a lot. You're going to be all right. How are you feeling? All right about it? Yes, there's thumbs up. There's thumbs up there, Jill. I can see thumbs up. They're happy. They're happy. It's going to be good. I tell you what, first thing I noticed when I read about this year's event going on was the theme. Everything is possible. I mean, wow. What a vibrant, what a lovely motto. But that's the motto for the event. What inspired that, Rupa? What inspired that everything is possible?
There is a story behind that, for sure. There is a bit of a backstory. And I think sometimes there's a lot of pressure to have a conference theme.
Yeah.
So it's when Debbie, our conference director, was appointed, I think that was one of the first things I asked her. You need a theme, right? And actually, we decided that it was going to be a 3-day or a 2.5-day event. And the day themes came first, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. I think in Debbie's mind and the stuff that we discussed, it was very much about giving people opportunity, because that's what Toastmasters is about.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
When you join Toastmasters, it is about that transformation in people.
Yeah.
Everything is possible specifically was a bit of an epiphany moment.
Yeah.
You know, so even though the overall theme and what we wanted to achieve was very clear, having that slogan that was going to be the hashtag, that came a lot later. And actually, it's something that's on Debbie's desk that happens to be a quote. And I think there was a conversation with me, there was a conversation with Isla, and then one day, randomly, she phoned and she goes, "I've got it. It's everything is possible." So sometimes we try too hard to figure these things out when there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And when you're planning something, it all comes together. And that's how that main theme came about.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And how does that sort of, for you, how does that connect to what the conference is about?
So the conference for all districts every year it's our flagship event, right? It's the final event of the year, and it sets the stall for the mood and the start of the following year. Some people, I guess, think conference is just about this leadership thing. Some people know that there's competitions that happen. So it's the finals of all 4 district contests, but it is for our members.
Yeah.
So each and every one of us here, and I think we will talk about it a bit later, we've all been brought together because of this event. Some of us may have had relationships outside of it, but every member in District 91 is invited to attend. Every Toastmasters member is invited to attend and get involved. But actually, even you, the general public, come and find out what Toastmasters are all about and see just how everything is possible.
Yeah. And I think that's especially important, you know, thinking about what's happened over the last 2.5 years. There's been a lot of things that we've been thinking, oh, that's not possible. We can't do that because of this. But this is all about saying, no, everything is possible. That's brilliant. Jill, you've been keeping an eye on the comments that have been coming in.
Yes, and I think it's really exciting because we have somebody online from Long Island, New York.
Wow.
Dublin, Ireland. Hello, Andrea and Abdullah. I hope that this means that they're going to be beaming in a couple of weeks' time and joining us, because it'll be well worth it.
Definitely.
So let's move on to the next question. And I'm going to ask Islay to answer this, because we have this overview title for the conference, Everything is Possible. But underneath, there are three themes that are going to be taking us through the weekend. So would you like to talk about motivation, inspiration, and education, and how you're anticipating these themes will be shown, made real?
Absolutely. It was very important for us to not only start with the premise that everything is possible, but to make sure that there was something in the conference program over the course of the Saturday, the Sunday, and the Friday night as well, that there was something in there for everybody. Toastmasters is for everybody, young, old, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. So we wanted to have something in here that is for everybody. So we have sessions in here that are going to inspire you. We're going to have sessions that are going to challenge your thinking. We're going to have sessions where we might actually have to get up and move a little bit as well. So we've got some surprises that are coming up under these themes. I'm not going to give everything away, but there is a lot going to be happening. So we all are motivated. It's a key theme of part of our work with Toastmasters. We are all inspired to learn. And when we're motivated, inspired, that really is when the magic happens, because that is when everything becomes possible. Because if the first plan doesn't work, well, let's go to plan B. And by the time we finish tweaking and planning plan B can turn out to be much better than plan A.
Indeed. Toby, are you going to welcome Julie? I see Julie Curtis is with us, and she is a storyteller par excellence. In fact, the first workshops I ever had at Toastmasters were Julie giving a storytelling workshop.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she's watching in now. Oh, hi, Julie. Good to see you. So we've got people tuning in from all over. And again, this is the fantastic thing about being online and about the conference, that people can get involved online, no matter where you are in the world, but especially, in England. But wherever you are in the world, they can join in and see what's going on. I've got a question. For Islay. Are you ready, Islay?
I am.
Now, you're PR director. So
Yep.
It's all about the vision. The PR people have this vision. I'm going to. So bringing this year's theme to life across all the marketing and branding, and you can see it behind us here now, is a dandelion.
Yeah.
A dandelion, you remember picking them up and blowing, and the fly away. What, the seeds fly away everywhere. I really want to find out more about the rationale around having a dandelion. Tell me more about that, Islay.
Okay, well, it wasn't just my idea. I have a great graphic design team behind me, and Dill, she has to take a lot of credit for this, because what we did, we wanted something that meant something to many people. So right from, as you described, Toby, as a child, you pick the dandelion, the seeds fluff, that magic when you watch the seeds fly away. But the dandelion itself has symbolism across cultures. Many times it'll symbolize hope. It symbolizes growth. It can also symbolize overcoming adversity. So when we researched this, we had 3 ideas, and we dug deep into each of our 3 ideas. But when we started really looking into the dandelion, and we started to think how the dandelion represented our Toastmaster journey as well, how that one root, that one flower blossoms into the seed head, and then the seed head, as you say, when you blow the seeds away, that represents our growth as a Toastmaster journey.
Yeah.
And then the seeds, you know, we grow together, we work together. And then when we're ready to fly away, we fly away, and then we land and we create a new plant. And it just symbolized that knowledge of everyone coming together and then leaving and setting up maybe a new club, for example, or just taking that knowledge and flourishing in our business, in whatever it was, reaching the goals that we wanted to set for ourselves in our Toastmaster journey. So when we started to think about it that way, it was never going to be anything other than a dandelion.
Wow.
Never.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I think that's lovely. And sometimes those seeds do, you know, when we've gone to Toastmasters meetings and we've told our tales or our stories, and you never know where they're going to land, or when we're at work, and sometimes, you know, you'll be leading some people there, and that lands, that seed lands there, that seed lands there, and grows, doesn't it? So that's the symbolism is fantastic. What other things have you been up to in terms of PR for this event then?
Well, it started right at the very beginning, way back before Christmas.
Yeah.
We knew that we wanted to do something a little bit different so that we could get everybody engaged and thinking about the conference, you know, well in advance. So in our brainstorming sessions, we hit upon the idea of having a gavel race.
Ah, okay. Tell me more about that.
Okay, so the gavel race, what happened was each of the divisions has their own gavel.
Yeah.
And we thought, well, okay, let's just see, because we decided everything is possible by this point. So we were flying with our inspiration and our ideas.
Now you've got to prove it.
Yeah, well, we said, why don't we have a race? The idea was each gavel would go around each of the clubs.
Yeah.
It would have a photograph taken at the club. The club would share the photographs with us. We would share it on social. We would do films. And then we thought, well, actually, let's get a bit of excitement, you know. Let's get each division to race each other to see how quickly it could go around the divisions.
Yeah.
And to be honest, what happened, I mean, again, I'm not going to spoil anything because you're going to have to wait for the conference. But it was really interesting to see how clubs who haven't really talked to one another in their area work together to get the gavel from one club to another, and how the different areas started to compete with each other during the different divisions. It really highlighted some areas which had really close connections. Yeah. And it built connections where perhaps those connections might not have existed before. Yeah. So just having something like that to really build that momentum before the conference, that was our plan.
I love it. So a gavel, like a little hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
A real hammer that goes around.
Yeah.
God, that is ambitious, but it sounds like ambitious.
It works. And, you know, we had loads of discussions on, no one's going to do it. No one's going to take part. It's just going to get stuck in one club, blah, blah, blah. We were like, no, everything is possible. We are going to do this. We are going to see what happens. Yeah. And we've done it. And you will just have to come to the conference and see what the final results are. But we are sharing the videos. There's 8 Gavel Race videos now that have been shared across social media. So, do check us out. If you don't follow us already on our social platforms, do go in and have a look. We're posting news about the conference all the time. And so you can see if your club is featured on the Gavel Race videos.
Wow. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. I can see that we've been joined now by Lucinda, who is another one of our MCs. She's joined us from South Africa, and it's really exciting that we'll be getting to know her at the conference. And Hassan, welcome. I can see that you're thinking of joining the conference. And at the end of this hour, we're going to have it's not a barcode. I've forgotten the name. What's it called?
Yeah, a QR code.
Yeah, the QR code.
Yeah.
You will be able to join us by getting.
So you can scan that, or along the bottom of the screen now is the website where people can just get conference tickets if they're already excited by what's going to come up.
Yeah, well, I hope they're already excited, but we're here, Toby, to make everybody more
build that excitement.
Yes. And here we are after over 2 years continuing to meet online. using Zoom or similar platforms. A lot of people feel quite jaded.
Yeah.
But I think there's something up District 91's sleeve to make it really a fantastic experience. So I'm going to ask Alistair to talk about how we're going to engage virtually.
Absolutely, Jill. Thank you. Yeah, as you say, this is going to be our third consecutive year of using online software for our conference. So there's a real pressure and drive with the spirit of everything is possible to make networking online work. And we really want to emphasize that this year's conference, it's not going to be just another Zoom. You know, we're all very familiar with Zoom now, for sure, for using it for all meetings and our online club meetings too. This year's conference offers a completely different angle, but whilst also balancing simplicity and familiarity for, of course, our speakers and making sure they feel comfortable, and Toastmasters feeling comfortable that are just joining as well. So you've probably seen on our socials, but for those of you who aren't up to date or perhaps following, we're utilizing the conferencing app Hoover this year, which is really exciting. And it was a new tool to me, in fact, to learn for the conference. And we're all really enjoying both building it, but also using it and networking on it as well, because it's not only live just during the conference dates, it's actually up and running now and people are networking. I've met Lucinda on the app. We've been speaking. There are all sorts of engaging elements, including photo boards, community chats. There's great ways to connect with your fellow Toastmasters and meet up and network prior to the actual conference taking place. The best way I can describe Hoover is sort of as a social media encasement or package for our event, and it's a surrounding of networking that will also accompany the live sessions on the day. So it's been really exciting and really interesting to implement, and I can't wait to see how Toastmasters continue to utilize it up until the date and also live on the day.
Fantastic. So, Alistair, that you said it was called Hoover. Abdullah is just asking the name of the app, and it's spelt a different way, isn't it? Not as in the brand name Hoover.
Yes. You wouldn't be the first person.
W-H-O-V-A.
Exactly. Yeah.
W-H-O-V-A.
W-H-O-V-A.
Okay. And so when people buy a ticket to the conference, that's a great way to take part. Then they get involved that way.
Absolutely, yeah. Upon purchasing your ticket, you'll get an automatic email. Whilst I'm sort of saying Hoover app throughout this, it's also accessible on desktop. It's pretty versatile in that regard. So if you are someone that prefers to, use your desktop computer or your laptop to join these kind of sessions, that's absolutely an option too. And when you purchase your ticket, you'll get an email of instructions and links of how to access that. It's very simple accessing either of those, obviously, to download the app or to join on a browser from the desktop. You then get taken into setting up your own personal profile. You can fill in your interests, etc. And the app itself will use all of that information to automatically connect you with like-minded Toastmasters as well. Because it's there's a level of awkwardness to networking online because you can't just, reach out to someone like you would in person, perhaps. But what the app is very clever in doing is showing everyone sort of shared interests. So you've almost got a reason or an opening line to network with someone about, and you can start that discussion either via private messaging in the app. There's direct links to people's external profiles on social media, or we've got hundreds probably at this point of community boards, all of different discussion topics, some Toastmasters topics, other things completely unrelated that everyone's having a good chat and a good discussion on. So it's a really, really great app.
I love the sound of that. So that's like the equivalent of the networking that takes place at these events. And that's what a lot of people go for as well, is to catch up with other Toastmasters. What are you up to in your club? But also just those informal. It doesn't have to be about Toastmasters then. Sounds like some of the conversations are around golf or activities or hobbies and meeting
Absolutely.
like-minded people for other things you've got in common.
And
you've got it, Toby.
Has written in the chat, Alistair is the king of Hoover. Yes.
Wow.
And I haven't even mentioned
to Rizwan, who's joined us from Dubai. So good to have you on board there, Rizwan. I hope you've got your ticket. I've got a question for Amy. actually, if that's all right. Amy. Hello, Amy.
Hi, Toby.
Hello. Now, you are conference administrator, organizer. Everyone needs somebody in a team who is organized, who's going to get everything sorted. And it sounds like you are the person to do that. I mean, this must have been, I don't know when you started planning, or this must have been just all the little bits have to fit together, especially being online. What's been involved in sort of the preparation, and how have you sort of made sure you plan the vision and making sure that it all comes to fruition?
Thank you, Toby. Funnily enough, when we were talking about the vision earlier, when you were questioning on that, I actually joined the conference team a little bit later on. So the vision had been put together, there was a communication plan in place, and I was asked to come on. And I think in every team you have to have a balance. So I hope I'm helping by making sure that the team's thinking of all the little things.
I'm sure you are.
Keeping their feet on the ground, making sure that the communication is open with the team and that all the little pieces come together.
Wow. And so how long has it taken you to sort of start organizing this stuff then? Does it happen a day after the last conference finishes, or? Well,
the bids are already open for next year's conference. So that's how soon we start thinking about it.
Yeah.
And once the vision was put together, so the dates would have been set and everything before that vision and everything got put together. And then all the really hard on the ground work sort of hits off from late December, January. And we've been meeting every week as a conference team for about a month and a half now. Before that, it was every 2 weeks.
Right.
And there's lots of little meetings in between. So over the last week, Alistair and I have touched base and had rehearsals. There's been lots of chasing to get speaker information locked down. And then you've got all the escalated elements of the conference. So there's the district council meeting, the contests that happen. There is a Saturday night event that's been officially announced now. So there's a lot of layers that have to be thought of. So we've got a roadmap for the team to try and keep us on the straight and narrow.
Okay.
As well as a big plan all about the communication side, because there's so many different elements of that.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure there's many other things I haven't thought of, but we've got a lot of plans, a lot of checklists, Toby, which you know I love.
I know you love it. What do you think is the biggest thing that's helped them in terms of a tool? So if people are thinking, if I wanted to plan something, what's been your biggest tool that you've managed to utilize to make sure this is on track?
It's such a basic thing, but probably Excel.
Right, yeah.
Just so simple.
Yeah.
There's lots of complicated apps out there, but at the end of the day, if you could get everything in one place so everyone has their eyes on it.
Yeah.
So we've tried to put as much as we can in just one Excel spreadsheet, but then you've also got a running order that you have to think of, as well as the to-do list. You've got to have a contact list.
Yeah.
Then there has to be information for MCs and Zoom masters. So all of that information as a team. So Alistair might be working on something and then he might ask someone else to check it.
Yeah.
So just because I'm an administrator and someone else is a PR director or a technical director doesn't mean that we don't have eyes on everything, so we can help each other out. Much like a club committee works, I guess.
Yeah. So you're delegating and working together, making sure that it all fits together for everyone.
Yes.
You're being a producer, Amy. You could go off and do a West End show next, or
a wedding planner.
Funnily enough, I have done stage management before, but that's a previous life.
Oh well, we relive lives all the time. And hey, Toby.
Yeah.
You're in demand. Lucinda's asking when she should go on Hoover.
I've got the app ready to go. I'm going to get on there and I'm going to start chatting and getting involved. I'm ready. Yeah. And is it the Hoover app? Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to get on there.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask three of the panel my next question, which is very close to my heart, because I was the conference director in 2015. So I know what I learned from being the conference director. And I would say that most of my team would put their hands up and say, wow, I didn't know I could do that. And I've really learned a new skill, and I'm taking that forward in my career. So I'm going to ask Amy, Alistair, and Islay what benefit they feel that they are getting from being on the conference team, and how that's working with their Toastmaster journey, as we always say. So we'll start with Amy.
I would say there's a few people on the conference team that I've already worked with before. So Islay and I have worked together quite a lot in Division H, but people like Alistair and a handful of others I'd never met before. So that's probably one of the biggest benefits, is meeting new Toastmasters and expanding that network. For me, I think it's been a reflection on skills I forgot I had. So in a previous career, I have been quite heavily involved in event management, stage management, and put on some absolutely crazy, weird and wonderful events. So it's nice to come back to maybe where my career launched off. And also a challenge for me, which is part of my big challenges as a Toastmaster, is to actually learn how to take a back seat and not always be the face of something. So being able to step back and mentor others, support them, and help them get their vision moving forward. And that's part of my growth in my own role at work too.
But Amy, during your time at Toastmasters, haven't you found that you've mined parts of your life, your experience, that you haven't perhaps felt was strong, but they were strong and they've come up again? And you've just explained that that's happened with your past career and your role with this conference. So I felt that very much. I didn't give value for myself to things I knew, but when it translated into something bigger, like the conference, I went, whoa, well, I did know that. I didn't think I did, but I'm now going to take pride and value my past experience and what it gave me. But I'm going to move on to Alistair and see what he feels about his role here for the conference.
Thanks so much, Jill. And both what you've said and what Amy said really resides with me for this experience as well. I would say it's just been really reaffirming of my skills. So similar to Amy, my background is in management. It's for a very sort of niche area of pharmaceutical events, though. So very sort of in a corner of events and a category of its own. And it's just been really nice to see that those skills are transferable and that I can apply them to other things. And whilst it is within my wheelhouse, there have been things that have taken me out of my comfort zone, such as speaking on this panel for one, a lot of delegating involved as well. And as Amy said, empowering other people to help you and trust the wider team, which has been really crucial for me, as I'm someone who sometimes can be a bit guilty of doing it all, and that's not always possible. But just seeing how transferable the skills that I've built in other areas are, and building that sort of leadership development, which is what Toastmasters is all about. And I think it's wonderful that these roles exist outside of club level and that you can continue your development on a much wider scale.
And I'm going to throw the same question to Islay.
Oh, thank you, Jill. I think Amy and Alistair absolutely have hit the nail on the head. I would add the briefing, I think, for me, briefing skills. I thought I was quite good at briefing, and I think that I've had to get a little bit better. Because, you know, you're working with people that you don't know, we've never met in person. And I have to say, I have the most fantastic team behind me on the PR. And we're working brilliantly together. And, you know, I think that you know, the job is only ever as good as how well you brief the person to do it. And that's always two-way. You're working with people. You want their skills. They're bringing some skills to the team, and you want to make sure that they can shine and they shine too. And I have to say, I have really enjoyed working with Alistair, who is just totally in charge of the tech, which means I don't even have to think about it at all. And I'm saying I am loving that the tech that we're using today is not something I've used before. I haven't used Hoover before, and I'm loving it. And that's, you know, these skills are something that I'm going to take into my, you know, my own work as a PR consultant. So I've really enjoyed just having that chance to expand my own skill set, to try new things, knowing that there's a really solid team to say, yeah, do you know what, that's a great idea, let's do that, or maybe no, let's not do that. And then sometimes I've been the one to say, well, actually, let's push that a little bit, let's see what else we can achieve if we go a little bit harder on that. So yes, I think that's my contribution to the question.
And you've just reiterated, everything is possible.
Absolutely. That's such a great theme.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Brilliant. We've got other Class from Canada tuning in now, Jill. So good to see you, Class. And Lucinda was saying something you were mentioning there, Isla, that something she learned early on in HPLs, higher performance leadership. Yeah. Thank you very much. Still a focal point. So it's sort of, it harnesses all that stuff into the Toastmasters journey as well then. That skills that really relate to that. Yeah. I'm going to flash forward. I'm going to flash forward to May the 9th. It's May the 9th, Rupa. The conference, everyone is blown away. It's gone so well. What about next year? What about 2023?
Well, I'd like to think that in the next week or so, I've decided the dates for next year's conference. So
oh, wow,
you
that's
can start planning ahead, and that will be announced very shortly at the district council meeting. But going back to the point in terms of how early we start with these things, pre-pandemic, it could be a year or 2 or even 3 years in advance, right? Certainly the bigger conventions. COVID's had a bit of an impact on that. Let's not lie about it. But the ideal situation would be someone has a look at that conference bid documentation right now, like directly after this panel discussion, and thinks, oh, I could do next year's conference. And on the 8th of May, would like to be able to be in a position where somebody is, hey, coming on stage and is the final person that we see and saying, I'm next year's conference director. That's the ideal situation. So that's my call to action right now. One of the reflections I've personally got working with this team is, I think at least 3 individuals, 2 of them are on this call, has said, we're really enjoying working on this team and we're really enjoying being involved in this conference. Just wish we'd started earlier. So again, you know, if it can start as early as May the 9th, as you say, Toby, but what would typically happen is we'd know who the conference director is. If it's going back to being in person for the sake of argument, we have an idea as to where the location's going to be. And then the planning starts in the autumn, really. Wow.
So that's so brilliant. Right. So if you're watching this now and you've got an idea, this is something you'd like to have a challenge at and build up and say, I'll do it. Yeah. So what do they need to do then, Rupa? Just
check out the conference bid documentation, and we'll probably throw the link in the chat at some point soon. But I'm going to go back one more step as well. You know, Toby, well done on your acronym knowledge, like HPLs, high performance leadership. A lot of our previous conference directors, I'm not going to say all of them, but I'd say a notable amount have done the conference director role as their high performance leadership project. And Jill is one of them as well. So it is a fantastic opportunity to build a team, get guidance from maybe some people that have done it before. And that's a different team to the team that you're running. And then there's lots of sub-teams. So lots of pathways, projects and opportunities just by being involved in the conference.
Yeah.
I'd like to add something. I think if somebody's ready to jump into the arena right now, they can at least be engaging during this conference, gathering friends, gathering people that they can see are very engaged themselves, and really starting to bring them on board for their conference next year.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a real... Yeah, it's a team event by the sounds of it. Although you need somebody, you know, leading that and taking it on. Definitely, I can see from what you guys have been saying today, it is a team event.
Absolutely. So this is the $60,000 question. It's for all 4 panelists, and I'll start with Amy again. What session are you personally most looking forward to, Amy?
That's a really tricky question, Jill. I There's a few sessions that I'm looking forward to because they involve members of my clubs. So that's always, so a very exciting moment to see your members stepping up. But I would probably say it's going to have to be the Speak Up session. And I'm actually on the district council, so I'm going to have to go back and watch it. But the Speak Up sessions have got 6 speakers, I believe, with all different topics. And I'm just really inspired to hear what they have to say, because I think people should speak up for what they believe in. And yeah, I think that's going to be a really motivational part of the weekend. And then I'm going to grab a second one, and that might be about the Pathways Mentor Program on the Sunday.
That sounds great. We've just got Muhyaldin, and I'm sorry if I've completely messed up your name, but it's lovely to see that we've got a new person listening to us today. So please make sure you stay to the end and you use the QR code so that you can join us in 2 weeks' time. And I'm now going to move to Alistair. Are you going to have any breathing space with all your tech stuff to listen and to absorb any of the sessions, Alistair?
I do hope so, Jill, because this year's agenda is very exciting, or I might have to do as Amy said and come back to some of the recording sessions. But certainly the most appealing thing to me on the agenda, or the most intriguing session, is something that's happening on the Sunday that was nicknamed the flop panel to start with. And it's taken on this wonderful other name of, I believe it's, and the winner is none of these panelists. And what it is a panel discussion of 4 past contest speakers talking about their experience of how not winning has done them favors and how that's got them to where they are, which I think is really interesting to hear, because a lot of sessions are a lot of content is about how people have won, how they got there. But I, for one, really like to listen to people that didn't quite make it all the way and how we can learn from that and how their experiences served them. So that's a panel discussion on the Sunday morning.
Well, they always say failure is the next step or the first step to success. And I'm sure that will be reflected during those panel sessions. I'm sure that the panelists have a lot to share. And I too am very much looking forward to that. So, Isla.
For me, I am going to go with our keynote speakers, because we have 3 fabulous keynote speakers at this year's conference. So I really looking forward to them. We've got Glenn, Anthony Bennett and Prez. And I want to have a sneaky one, but I don't want to take something away from Rupa. So I'm actually going to say we do have some surprises that we are going to keep under our hats until the actual event. So not everything is going to be announced in advance. I think Rupa's looking a bit worried, but so I think I'm actually looking forward to a couple of the surprises.
Rupa, I think there's got to be a big reveal, or you've got to be like a top secret spy and keep yourself like hookah straight faced. What are you most looking forward to in this year's conference?
Well, at this point, Jill, I have to say I'm a little bit worried by what Isla just said. Surprises? What surprises? I don't like surprises. You guys what surprises? But in terms of picking one thing or a couple of things, I actually can't, for 2 reasons. When push comes to shove, it's my program, right? So I have to say all of it, right? But the other reason, and we haven't really touched on this yet, is the other sub-theme and the other main hashtag for the conference is We Are District 91. And with the exception of one individual who happens to be one of the keynote speakers, every single person that has stage time in this conference is associated with District 91 or is a current member. So one of the things that we wanted to do this year, even though we've had a couple of years of being able to get people from all over the world, is ultimately showcase our talent from within at our flagship event. So unfortunately, I can't pick, but yeah, everything that we put together on this program has some sort of meaning to me and our conference director.
Well, one of the the tenets of Toastmasters is integrity. And I think that you've shown really strong integrity there. No secrets revealed if there are any, or if they're coming from somebody else. I hope you don't get too shocked. So have we got any questions that will coming from the floor, so to speak, from all you wonderful people who can fill in comments on the side of your screen?
Yeah, tap in if you've got a question there for us. I wanted also to speak about something. So I've now got Hoover. So so Lucinda will be happy. And it's got the agenda on there. It's got the agenda on there, so you can pre-plan, you can choose things that you want to attend. And I've noticed it's got Toastmasters can do stand-up comedy on there. So wow, that should be a good one. So I'm going to add that to my calendar. And
we've got many entertainment sessions planned over the course of the weekend. All sorts of different types of entertainment too, from dance to comedy to fitness, all sorts of things. There truly is something for everybody.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Sometimes people think, oh, it's just going to be listening to someone talking. No. It's going to be just on. No, it sounds like you've got loads of fun events lined up.
Oh yeah,
really great, really great. There's no questions coming in, Jill, but what I don't know if in terms of what you've spotted on the agenda.
Well, I'm at the moment, and this might be a little hint to people listening in at the moment, I'm still looking for some more MCs. So I'm not sure which side of the fence I'll be. I'll certainly be at every event that I can possibly be, although there are 2 stages on Saturday. I have to be at the district council meeting because I'm the president of a club. There's a whole load of stuff going on elsewhere where, of course, I hope to be able to catch up on the recording. And Alistair, will the whole conference be watchable later? Will it all be recorded?
So there are some select sessions that are available to view on demand, and we'll certainly be launching that, and that is included in the tickets, and there'll be communications after the event if there are any sessions that you've missed.
Yes. Oh, we've had Lucinda is appreciating what Rupa has said, and the fact that the speakers are basically all D91 speakers. And I think that's a really good idea.
There's a lot of talent by the sounds of it in D91. Yeah. And why not show it off? Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're very talented.
It was important to the program team that we have really good speakers, but we also give a platform for speakers who maybe are experienced but not quite as well known. And I think that we wanted to give a platform to them too, and I think that we have done that.
And we'd like some MCs who need the opportunity to shine, haven't been known to lots of Toastmasters before, might not have even been a Toastmaster for very long, but have passion and energy, can think on their feet, have a bit of repartee, just like Toby and I have had. It's not rocket science, and we'd really putting a call out. So anybody listening today who would either be interested or know somebody who could be just persuaded a little bit, let us know as soon as possible. It's getting late. We've got sessions for training, but it's fun.
Still time. Yeah.
Fun. And if you've got a pink trouser suit, or you wear a yellow flower in your hair, or your glasses glitter, it's all fine. It's all great. It all adds to the warmth and the welcome in the conference, which is all really important.
Sorry, Jill. I was say I've spotted Julie was asking about youths, who's saying about youths, and I was thinking youth, and I've spotted as in the agenda there's a youth leadership, I presume discussion, which is taking place on Sunday. So that's in there. Does anyone know any more about that? Youth leadership?
Well, Andrew Bennett has been the guru of youth leadership for years. I suspect he can't be at the forefront of any presentation at this year's conference, because I believe...
I'm happy to take that one. Jill and Toby. I think so. So again, without calling out any favourite sessions, youth leadership within District 91. It's part of our educational program, and not many people know about it. We don't do it the way some districts do. And ultimately, if we're talking about the future of this organisation, it is about reaching the next generation of youths and Toastmasters. So it's not necessarily going to be a whole panel session on youth leadership and what it is, but just reaching out to people that may have experienced the benefits of Toastmasters, or even just public speaking and oratory at an early age. And who knows, Alistair might show up on that panel. You might be convinced.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So,
thanks, Rupa.
Panel members, is there anybody who really wants to talk about what Toastmasters meant to them from the beginning of their journey till now? I mean, Rupa, you've got right up to virtually the top of the leadership tree in District 91. How has your journey been?
The secret is don't say yes to things if you don't want to do that sort of stuff. I remember hearing from a past district director a few years ago that the reason that they had got to district director is people kept asking them to do stuff, and they just kept saying yes. I think my journey is probably slightly different. I literally did join Toastmasters 6 years, 2 months, and 16 days ago. And it was walking into an environment where I wanted to do something for professional development, needed a hobby that wasn't necessarily that social, but you know what Toastmasters can be like. You start and it becomes quite social. And yeah, I don't necessarily say yes immediately, maybe pause a bit, say maybe, and then who knows what happens afterwards. Because again, everything is possible.
I've actually heard you pausing. I've heard you saying, I'm still thinking. What about Amy? How long have you been a Toastmaster?
I think I'm not as specific as Rupa on the dates, but it's been about 6 years now that I've been a Toastmaster.
Wow.
And what's the difference between when you started and how you feel now when you're on stage?
It's an interesting question because I don't think I joined for the same reasons that a lot of members do. I had moved countries about 9 months previously. So for me, it was about sort of hitting that period of your life of, I'm in a new place, I'm starting a new career. How do I want to meet people and grow my community in the UK? And I made a decision that I maybe needed to move away from relying on bars and a younger lifestyle. And of course, I've had plenty of fun with my Toastmaster friends. But yeah, it was more about doing something a little bit more, pushing myself, and I've stayed because of those friendships. I would say that's probably the main thing that keeps me wanting to get involved with more people, is the sense of community that we get as Toastmasters. And then on a tack onto that, it's been challenging myself more on the leadership side than I would say the speaking side.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? That some people, sometimes they find they go there for the speaking skills, and it's something about Toastmasters, the community, the people, the way it works, that leadership side comes out, and they get a great deal from that. And it sounds like you've got a bit in that from personally, you know, and work-wise as well. So that's come off in terms of that. Brilliant.
What about Islay?
I think I've had a bit of a different journey from the others on this panel. I think I'm still quite new to Toastmasters. I've only been in Toastmasters for a couple of years. And I think my PR skills, which is what I do for my job, people seem to, I don't know, they heard of me. So I basically got asked to help, and I just said yes. So I haven't even been a club president yet. So I'm taking a very roundabout route to everything. But what I love about Toastmasters for me is I work from home. I have my own consultancy. So it's just lovely to meet other different professionals from different, who's got different skills, different levels of experience and different industries as well. I've just stayed. I realized my mic was on mute and nobody was waving at me.
It was only just recently. We heard you.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, yeah, I think that, as I say, Toastmasters has been good because of just all of the different people that you meet. And I just love my meetings. We just never fail to have a laugh.
Yeah.
And just, you learn all the time.
Yeah. So you've not been in Toastmaster for that long. So I'm thinking, as a team, you know, have you got things in here for people who are new to Toastmasters, or is it going to suit, as they say, the seasoned Toastmaster then?
I think for me, as I think the newbie person, I'm not really, I'm still learning some of the Toastmaster procedures, you know, what goes on at district council and things like that. I don't, so, but you know, so the team have had to sort of just help me with that side of things. So I think because there's such a good support with everyone in the team, as long as there's something you don't know, that you're not afraid to say, actually, can somebody just bring me up to speed on that? Or can somebody just tell me? Then there's always so much help and so much support. So I think there's absolutely something, if you're prepared to say yes and go for it, then the support is there to help you succeed.
Definitely.
And wouldn't you say that there's, for delegates, participants going to the conference, whether they are brand new and know nothing about anything, they've just joined, or they've been hanging around a long time, like somebody like me for 12 and a half years, there is something always to learn. And even if you think you know quite a lot, it's amazing how much more you learn. And I always try personally to set myself a new bar, and you learn it from other people watching them.
Yeah, you do. 100%. Without question. And I really think the program this year has got something for everybody. And I think that, you know, every team has a different way of doing something. And I think that every conference run by a different team will bring something a little bit different to the occasion. And I think that, you know, if you've been to many, many conferences, I really feel that there'll be something that you think, actually, do you know what? This year they did that. Yeah, but that was good.
Yeah. I was just going to say, sorry, Isla, I interrupted you. Arno has got a few questions. He's been joining. He's asking, will we see all the panelists at the Saturday evening event? You deserve a big cheer. Who wants to say a bit more about the Saturday evening event?
Happy to take that one as well. Yeah. Well, I know that Isla's coming. I know Jill's coming. I know I'm going to be there. Toby, Amy, Alistair, have you registered yet? That's a question.
Tell me more about what's happening on Saturday.
Well, I'll be dialing in online on the Saturday evening.
Oh, okay, interesting.
There's entertainment online, isn't there? There's entertainment.
Oh, very good.
There is, yeah. So we've got online conference entertainment, which actually I've not been that involved in. So Isla or someone else can probably pick that one up. But we are doing an in-person event that's not directly related to the conference. But yeah, a bunch of tickets are available to meet in London after a few years of being online. So yeah, get that full conference flavor back again, and the District Hall of Fame will be live streamed from that event. So the 4 or 5 main awards that the district director gives out every year will be presented at that event too. Isla or someone else, if you want to talk about more about the online entertainment, feel free.
Yeah, the online entertainment is all being finalized as we speak. I believe that there's some salsa dancing going on. Wow. And there's I told you there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
There really is something for everybody.
Get the hips going. I'm ready.
Yes,
Got a shirt.
absolutely.
Got a shirt for it. Need a few
You
ruffles,
do have
maybe.
the shirt. That's
And I'm there.
absolutely perfect.
Is it
So
what you
more-
join in the salsa dancing, or we're watching salsa dancing?
I believe we're going to be joining. I believe it's going to be sort of an online, session.
I mean,
So we'll be releasing more information.
Fantastic. Wow.
I mean, there's something for people online. There's something for people in person. Nobody's going to be left out. It's going to be a party wherever you are on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And so, no, Jill's been leading up to it all evening. How do we get a ticket? We certainly know how to get a ticket by the information that's going along the bottom of the screen. But there is a QR code as well. If you we've had to say goodbye to Islay. But if you scan that QR code, get your phone out your pocket now, scan that code so you can open up. If you've got an iPhone, or most Androids will normally do it automatically. So you open up your photo app, and then you hover, point it at that QR code, and an address will come up. You click that, and it will take you straight away. So you'll be able to get tickets there. Or you might have a QR code reader. So that's all you need to do. And then once you've got the tickets, the information about the Hoover app, all the information about the conference will be emailed to you. That is brilliant. Look at that. Scan that for tickets. I think we're almost at the end. We're almost at the end of our chat, which is a shame. It's a shame, but you guys have got a lot of work to do. Well, you've done a lot of work already, but you guys have got a lot of, come on, we can do it. Everything is possible going on. I've really enjoyed chatting to you and learning more about the conference. So thank you very much to Alistair, to Rupa, to Islay, to Amy, and of course to Jill, my co-MC. Jill, have you enjoyed it? I hope you have.
Had a ball. I loved it. I love hearing everybody else's enthusiasm and welcome, pulling everybody in. Perfect.
Yeah. And thanks to everyone who's been sending us questions and messages through. Lovely to see you. So 18, 19 days to go. How is everyone feeling now? Yeah, everything is possible. Everything is possible. That's what we should be saying. Thank you very much to everybody who's been able to tune in and watch this wherever you are in the world. And I, for one, look forward to seeing you at the conference. See you all then. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.